All right, in today's episode, I want to talk about a lesson that I learned about the Colorado BDR. These are 5 things I wish that I would have packed, and one of them I actually forgot to pack for this video, so I'll have to do a little bit of a fill-in with that. But these are the 5 things I wish somebody would have put on a list, told me would have been necessary before I went on my first BDR. So with that, let's get into it. Item number 1, everybody talks about sunscreen. I think on most lists, and I think even CMA, so Colorado Motorcycle Adventures, who I went on the tour with, they mentioned bringing sunscreen. But I think there's a caveat to that. Bringing like a face-specific sunscreen that's small, that you can keep and is easily accessible. So I had packed a larger amount of sunscreen, but when my bags are being transported, you don't think about it. And so if you are carrying your own luggage and you're camping and you have your bags full of stuff and your sunscreen's at the bottom and it's a big thing and it's a hassle, you're not going to get it out. So having a small face-specific sunscreen, I think, because then it helps to keep, it's not so oily, so that like with your helmet rubbing, especially with like the cheek pads and stuff, it will prevent, like, hopefully help prevent breakouts. But with stopping and constantly moving and taking off on and off your helmet, you are definitely going to need to reapply sunscreen. And in Colorado at high elevation, the sun is just intense. And so, yes, definitely need a small face-specific sunscreen that's easily accessible. And a caveat, actually a guy on one of our trips who rides a lot, now he carries a lot of sunscreen with him because he ran into some potential dangerous skin issues. And so now he carries some. Luckily, before I bought this, because I didn't think about it, I was able to use his, and then when I stopped at the local Walgreens or pharmacy, I was able to get a face-specific sunscreen. All right, let's move on to item number 2. Item number 2 is wet wipes. Again, something that can be packed in like your top tank bag if you're using one of those, or a small bag that's super easily accessible. The number one thing I was fighting constantly on the BDR was dust. Dust was the ultimate enemy. I'm sure if I looked at the air filter from the bike, it was just black because there's so much dust. And I got a question the other day, if I was going to ride the BDR again, would I rather have the Honda CRF 450 or like the Norden? And honestly, Norden all day, because 90% of the riding is fast backcountry dirt roads, even in Colorado. There are shorter sections, maybe 5 or 10 miles at a time, where it is rocky passes, and yeah, it would be awesome to be on the Honda, but 90% of the time you are riding on fast backcountry dirt roads, and that means if you're riding with anybody, there's going to be a lot of dust. Even if you're riding by yourself, you're still going to kick up a lot of dust. So with these are kind of the water ones. They're kind of like baby wipes, water only. The benefit to these versus like some other ones is it's just water. So you can use it to wipe your screen. If you have the map, like on a GPS like I did, you can use it to clean that. You can use it to wipe your face, which is just nice. So when you stop, you're gonna be covered in dust. And so having water wipes to just be able to wipe your face down and clean off some of that dust, super, super helpful. Also to be able to like clean your screen and not have like a bunch of soap residue so you don't get a bunch of streaking. Just water, it should be pretty clean. So water-based wet wipes, always remember if you packed them out, if you packed them in, to make sure to pack them out. On me, on my little bag, I just kind of stuffed them in the side, and then when I got to the hotel at night, I threw them away. So definitely really important item number 2, wet wipes. Let's talk about item number 4. I didn't bring it, so I'll insert another video here, but is a neck buff, essentially. The benefit of the neck buff is I did not realize a couple things. If you get the sun-specific ones, it'll help to keep the sun off of your back, so you're not having to apply as much sunscreen to your neck all day, so your neck doesn't get burnt. B, when you stop for lunch, if you don't want to like unpack a hat and then with your neck and ears and everything still exposed, it works great as like a hat too. So I didn't have one when I stopped into town. Most mountain towns, they sell them because they're super popular. Find any like fishing or outdoor store, they should have one. They're relatively cheap, maybe 20 bucks. But you can also then pull it up like a hat. So when you're sitting outside, because hopefully you have good weather and you want to sit outside and enjoy your lunch wherever you stop, or if you're stopping on the side of a trail to have lunch of your own, taking your helmet off and just being able to pull your buff up over your ears and neck just to help protect you from the sun, especially at altitude, because once you get over, in Colorado, if you're starting from the Denver side, you're already at 5,000 feet. So you're going to be at 8,000 or 9,000 feet, upwards of 12,000 feet, 13,000 feet through the San Juan section. And so and the sun is just way more intense up there. And it's cooler, so you don't think you necessarily need it, but the sun is way more intense. So having that buff just to put over your head, I did try to use my buff to put over my nose to help reduce some of the dust. That didn't really help. It kind of helped, but not really, so it was kind of a wash. I did try, you can try covering your mouth or your nose, but getting it to kind of fit right was a little bit of a struggle, and then having it pressed down properly. So it was like kind of getting my glasses to sit on it. And it was okay. I don't think on any of the lists I saw, like a neck buff is kind of important. Fort 9 actually, which is a great motorcycle channel, they talk all about how the buff is the greatest thing ever invented for motorcycles, and especially with helmets. So again, I would definitely pack a buff, super, super important. Last but not least, and this one may seem a little bit odd, but it is a Medipot. This is kind of basically a sinus rinse. Couple caveats. When you use these, you have to use distilled water or you have to boil your water. So you want to make sure that the water is sterile that you're using, because there's been a lot of cases of people just using regular tap water and then they're injecting like amoebas, brain-eating amoebas and bacteria and all that stuff up in their sinuses. However, if you're camping, you can easily boil some water and then let it cool and then rinse your sinuses. Or if you're like doing like we did when you're at a hotel, basically if you just ask them for some hot water for tea, because a lot of times they have tea available in the rooms, they will bring you up a hot cup of tea of water or a little pot of water, boiling water, which you can then let cool off and then use to rinse your sinuses, because once you boil the water, it should be sterile. So why was this important? Again, just the dust. And I can't tell you, after the first day, when we stopped in town, I went to the closest pharmacy to buy one of these. They're cheap. I had one at home. I should have brought one. But it comes with the little like saline packets and the water. To be able to just rinse all of that dust out of your sinuses it's like heaven sent. It was like the best feeling, and also quite disgusting because so much dirt comes out of your sinuses, and so you can breathe so much better. It doesn't smell like, it makes it easier to sleep. Like as somebody who has like a deviated septum already and I have to wear like nose strips to breathe at night because otherwise I can't breathe through my sinuses, this was a lifesaver. And it's not very big, right? So if you have a few of these salt packets in this thing, it doesn't take up much space. It's very, very light. I would highly recommend this. Your biggest struggle is just finding sanitized water, like distilled water, but you can boil it if you're camping. And B, if you're doing the hotels, which we did, because it was nice to be able to take a shower. And even if you're hoteling it and you think, I still probably won't need that, like, yeah, you can get in the shower and you can like try to rinse your sinuses out with the hot water and the steam, but it just doesn't do the same, because this like gets all the way back up there and really cleans it out. So for me, next BDR, definitely an essential item I'm bringing. So with that, if you've made it this far, thank you for sticking around. Make sure to comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. It's free. So why not, right? It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a button. Also, leave a comment below. Tell me why you think this video is stupid. Tell me why you think my top 4 items here are worthless and why your ideas are way better than mine. So with that, leave a comment below. And until next time, stay safe out there.